Hello again. I'm John McDonnell. Thank you for letting me into your home again for another 90 Days, our quarterly video report about issues, events, and people important to you and me and our corporation. In this report, we're going back to school with teammates from the Missile Systems Company in St. Louis. Then our camera takes us to Douglas Aircraft Company for a close-up look at the MD-11 jetliner as it was prepared for first flight. We'll return to St. Louis and the McDonnell Aircraft Company for a story about building the Air Force's #1 fighter, the F-15E Eagle. We'll review our financial performance and cover some other subjects in this edition of 90 Days. Sociologist Alvin Toffler coined the term future shock. He defined future shock as the stress and disorientation we feel when subjected to too much change in too short a time. Without question, we live and work with a great deal of change and stress. And like it or not, the pace of change is accelerating, with enormous impact on McDonnell Douglas. Who could have anticipated the changes in Eastern Europe or the Soviet Union and their impact on defense planning? Our military business will be affected by uncertainty and reduced budgets for years to come. On the other hand, in just 3 short years, our commercial transport backlog quadrupled. And to capitalize on this unprecedented opportunity, we're changing, hiring and training new people, reassigning engineering, production, and management talent, shifting manufacturing resources. Of course, the transition into our total quality management system is another source of sometimes uncomfortable but necessary change. If we're to prosper in the years ahead and cope with future shock, each of us must acquire new knowledge and skills that will enable us to accept and lead change on the job. Learning should be a lifelong process through formal education, on-the-job training, taking on new responsibilities, taking risks, and making mistakes. When we stop learning, we stop developing as individuals. And that's why we're placing so much emphasis on improved and increased training and education programs. It's part of our effort to make people development high priority. That training may be technical in nature, or as we're about to see, aimed at improving people skills, at helping us deal more effectively with fellow workers. Gary Krall teaches a course like that at McDonnell Douglas Missile Systems Company in St. Louis.
Through SAI, I'm here to try and help you people become more effective in your dealings with other people. Now, this course focuses on...
The future is moving towards us at a very rapid rate, and it requires that people do different things. When a decision is made to change for people to do different things, one of the things that has to be considered is whether or not they know how to do it. Training, I think, is one of the most powerful tools we have to facilitate change, particularly rapidly throughout an organization. The skills that were maybe in older days or in the past were viewed as management skills, or skills that are now perceived as needed by people from the very highest levels to the very lowest levels. As we work in teams and form work groups, you have people there that need to have enhanced communication skills. They have to have better interpersonal skills. They need to relate better with people in other departments. It's all interrelated. When people discuss their hindrances, the things that come between them and their objectives, almost invariably in every class, 100% are defined as
people problems. Every one of these hindrances relate back to either the thinking and actions of other people.
What they need to come to realize when they analyze the problem is that the people they've identified as problems are not walking around saying, I'm the problem. We need to recognize that difference between the way we feel the definition of the problem is and how the listener views the problem. And then we devise some specific skills that allows them to analyze the problem and plan to communicate with that listener in a way that acknowledges the listener's viewpoint.
My name is Judy Smith, and I am the QDR coordinator for the Harpoon missile program.
Judy was a classic candidate to have in the program.
But sometimes I overpower people, and I want to learn not to scare them off, but to help.
What she is saying in reality is that she's slipping from the listener's objective and slipping to her viewpoint.
I have never been a shy individual. This ought to bring a chuckle from anybody who's ever met me. I've never been shy. I have no compunction about walking into anybody's office or walking down onto the manufacturing floor or talking to the floor sweepers if they're the ones I need to talk to. I cover a lot of miles walking, gathering information and data. I have at my fingertips a wealth of knowledge in other people. And I go and I pick their brains. I need their help. I need their cooperation. You know, I'm honest with them up front. If I was trying to snow them, they'd know it.
Could you connect reducing his speed to his reputation as an outstanding truck driver? Somehow.
We have an exercise to do a persuasive communication to a truck driver. In this case, it's Edwina. And the challenge there is to convince Edwina to keep the speed in her truck below 10 miles per hour when inside the factory grounds. To do that in a way that maintains Edwina's positive attitude towards the job, towards herself, towards the boss and the company. That exercise is designed to give people a chance to try the process step by step.
We realize that there is a great deal of pedestrian traffic to interfere with drivers accomplishing their job.
Well, I think you got to play on the people's, their minds are on other things other than vehicles.
Okay.
We're trying to identify what he's going to blame, what he might blame this on.
People don't watch where they're going.
The advantage is that when they're done, Edwina wants to drive slower to maintain her outstanding reputation as a truck driver. Edwina is not going to drive slower because she's afraid of some consequence. The benefit of that type of thinking on Edwina's part is self-evident. I want us to start delivering the training quicker. We need to develop ways to get things done and out in real time when they need it. It's going to mean that we're allowed to make more mistakes.
Me, listener's viewpoint.
We're training leaders to be trainers. I can't do it all myself. I can't do every person in the company. So what we need to do is to make that self-generating.
You have to be able to allow for another person's point of view. I think that's probably the biggest advantage that training and the programs that I have taken here give to all of us. It helps us find a way of making our point tactfully and yet still accomplish the goals that you need.
In these culture changes and changes in philosophies and how we do business, the toughest role is that of mid-level manager. And what happens here, we start advertising, we start campaigns, we do 90-day videos that raise the expectations of everybody within the organization. So now all of a sudden everybody's expecting tomorrow that they're going to be empowered and that all the problems and all the hindrances they have on their job is going to go away. It doesn't happen. And now you've got mid-level managers who don't know how to do what it is that these people are expecting. And so that's our role, is to come in and show them how to do it.
Thank you, Gary, and special thanks to Judy Smith for sharing her experience. Gary's right. A 90 days video, a single class, or a slogan won't bring about the changes we seek through TQMS. Change doesn't happen overnight. Creating a new culture in which people can develop and contribute to their fullest potential is an ambitious, never-ending journey, but we're embarked on that journey. I believe McDonnell Douglas should be a